How does he have such a small dick and such huge balls?
You know, if you're going to buy shit coins, you got to have big balls.
That monkey looks sophisticated.
Well, he's got an air of sophistication.
He's relaxed.
An air of, he's relaxed. He's a little bit arrogant, but he knows what
He's a bit homeless.
He knows what's happening.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our weekly crypto update show with Jesse and Leanne. How are you, Jesse?
Good, how's it going?
It's been about 12 hours since we spoke. Bit of Axie Infinity breeding last night. Leanne, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Sean.
For those of you joining us for the first time, the show is basically a look at the news that matters in the world of 8,000 different cryptocurrencies, the wonderful world of blockchain. So we're going to be looking at the main news, also at the charts. We don't have a sponsor for this show, but we do get a little commission from BYBIT. So if you are a trader, please use our link, which is below. On that note, Leanne, before we get into the chart, so I'm actually in I hate shorting the market, but I actually did that 2 days ago. I haven't looked at it today. Let's have a little look at the trade that I'm currently in. Currently in a short trade. As you can see, not a hell of a lot of capital in it, but I was pretty confident the market was heading south, so I've nailed that. But where's it going next? This is actually an Ethereum trade.
I noticed you're in profit. Have you got a stop loss in, or what are you doing there?
Yeah, I do.
Good.
Look, it's absolutely the first time I've shorted the market in a long time. I typically hate shorting.
Yeah. What time frame are you on then?
Well, it's a leverage trade on BYBIT.
But what time frame?
So, I can bring that back up if you like.
Are you on the daily, hourly?
I think that was a 1 minute time frame we were looking at there.
Oh, so you're scalping.
Correct.
Okay, so my first observation is if you're scalping, you should probably close the trade, snatch, grab, and take $260 profit.
Okay, there you go, audience. You heard it there first. Leanne is telling me to close my trade.
If you're scalping.
And I am closing it. I'm closing it. Market sell. Boom. I made $265.
I mean, if you said to me you're on the 1 hour or something.
Now, it's Leanne if she's wrong.
Yeah, you totally. Look, how can you be angry? You just took profit.
True. I've actually had a really good week's trading without blowing my own trumpet too loudly.
The reason I grilled you on that was because of the scalping versus longer trade aspect. And if you're in a scalp and you've already made $260, I don't really care what the chart says. A 1 minute scalp is $260. So good job. You can always re-enter another 1 minute trade.
This is true.
Yes.
That's a little short-term short from me there.
Yes.
I actually think there might be a little bit more downside is my feeling. So let's get yours.
Okay, so would you like me to bring up BTC first, or?
Yeah, let's start with BTC.
Okay, we haven't looked at my Bitcoin chart. We didn't do it we did. Jesse commentated it last week. So you'll try and take a serious approach this week. So as Jesse said last week, we could go up, down, or sideways.
If it goes down, then we're in for a bear market. Conversely, if we went up, we could possibly be in a bull market.
Not much has changed.
You're learning.
Yeah, not much has changed. Actually, I'm not on let me go to my 343 minute. That's what I'm more comfortable with in my methodology. So my methodology, if you've been watching me with my charts, I have a big blue wave here, which dictates the direction of my trades. And my notes say that we're still under water pressure here. So the blue wave, we're still under the blue wave, which is the 231 minute SMA. So for me, if we had a tap of the 41 zone, but to reclaim that and hold that is what I'm interested in. So for me, as long as it's under this pink line here, we're still on the downtrend. I had an entry signal here. These little pink triangles are entries, and they happened while I was sleeping. I didn't jump into them, and I didn't feel the need to panic about missing an entry because I was still under my blue wave here. So until that wave flattens out some more, which, I'm guessing might be June, July, there's nothing really to see. And here I've also got a retest that's possible where the pink arrow is of the 77 SMA, which is around 37,000. And the most energy and action is happening through this band here, which is the 36 zone. So I'm not surprised to see it come back down. And then, of course, watching very carefully if that holds. And yeah, so for me, we're still range bound, and price action, there's no need to force any trades because the price action is telling us we're range bound for now. And I think it's a good opportunity just to go and get things done, as I've said before, and enjoy your life.
Yeah, well, it depends a wee bit, doesn't it, Leanne? What sort of trader you are?
Absolutely.
I trade. I'm primarily an investor, as we discussed the other week, but I do trade with about 20% of my portfolio, and I've actually been probably some of the last few weeks has been the most active I've been trading because there is this range.
Yes.
I have been really trading that sort of 37 up to 40K type range, longing and shorting for the last month with quite a bit of success.
There's been some really nice trades there. I personally haven't been trading the range, but yes, there's totally room and scope for taking really good, I would say, small leverage or spot trades throughout that range. I've just popped those words there for anyone, again, that's new to the charts. My charts, I'm going to talk about surfing, snorkeling, diving and deep sea fishing because I've dictated by my wave. So we want to be surfing on top of the wave with my lines, and at the moment we're still diving under the sea. So I've just taken off the candle action there so that you can see. And we might, it's difficult for me to describe this in terms of candles and SMAs because I'm looking at all of it, but at the moment the dominant factor for me is the blue wave, and I'm not entering any long swing trades yet based on BTC not being above the wave. Okay, but we can look at ETH next. Okay, so ETH, we're also still under the wave pressure here. We're still diving under the waves. The wave looks healthier to me than the BTC chart. So I'm watching it closely because it's starting to get this flat top, which I like, because then it's, if I can predict what happens, the flattening is looking much healthier than BTC's. So we're getting up towards the blue line a lot quicker than the BTC one. So I'm watching it closely because ultimately, if ETH starts to show some strength and it holds this trend line, I'm tipping alts might have another mini crack at some upside, but I'm remaining cautious, and that's really all there is to it. But for now, ETH is still on a downtrend like BTC. And until I break above my 77 and I get up towards some snorkeling and surfing territory, for me, I'm not re-entering. But Sean, if you're doing short time frames, there's lots of trades to take.
There sure is. I mean, look, there's a bit of TA, but for me, we've last week we were sort of having a bit of a chuckle about TA. Kind of tough to call at the moment. Depending on what sort of trader and investor you are, but really the fundamentals on a daily now, we've had so much FUD, but I think everyone is kind of over that. I've got a little bit more FUD to bring up today, but on the positives, thoughts on just in the last week, we've had more action out of El Salvador people. That bill has actually gone through now. We've got other countries lining up that look like they might be looking to do the same thing. I think we've had the IMF weigh in on this. It creates quite an interesting scenario here, because if you have a country that is making Bitcoin a legal tender, it then creates a scenario where that will legally be able to be traded on these forex markets. So there's all sorts of ramifications. Everyone is sort of sitting up and taking notice globally here, right from FATFA, which is the financial authority that sits up there with the IMF. Lots of action, people. Thoughts around that?
Yeah, I think last week we spoke about, well, I know I mentioned there could be a domino effect we all spoke about that, the Central and South American countries. So I've got an article here that this week Panama expressed interest. Word on the street is Panama is set to join El Salvador. And there was an interesting comment that was mentioned by, I think, the president. This is important, and Panama, the words, we cannot be left behind. And I thought that was they were really powerful words, because we also discussed that countries don't want to be left behind, or the last one to adopt this possibility of using Bitcoin as legal tender. So it's exciting to see more countries express interest, and the dominoes are seeming to fall in line.
It seems to me, once you start to get 3, 4, 5 countries in this, bullish doesn't even seem like a good word anymore. Like, I can't imagine it going the other direction. Even if Uncle Sam threw a hissy fit, was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like, I'm legitimately considering moving to one of these countries in the future if it goes well. But what question I was going to have is, so El Salvador went right into it, also guns blazing, talking about volcano power.
Yeah.
That was kind of like a double whammy. Do you think these other countries are going to have some sort of similar caveat or whatever you want to call it to add on to? In other words, what type of power solution do you think these other countries are going to come up with?
Maybe Panama might use boat power through the Suez Canal or something.
Cocaine power?
Mucking around, yeah. I don't know, but it's definitely an interesting thought. That what are the resources in the country, the natural resources?
So that's a fascinating scenario. We'll have to see how that plays out. But really, for me, it's what I kind of see happening here is that we're going to have multiple countries actually having Bitcoin as a treasury asset for this renegotiation and the Great Reset that we all know is coming. And that sort of comes in line with, the issuance of central bank digital currencies. I think these two things are very, very much interrelated. So, because if you think, a lot of these Central or South American countries where you have a lot of corruption, and that extends right into politics as well, adopting effectively, something that is a blockchain, which is what? It's timestamps, it's an immutable ledger, it's auditable, it's public. If you're corrupt, you certainly don't want to be using Bitcoin or a blockchain for your financial affairs. So, that's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. To me, I don't really see the use as the actual currency of these countries, but I definitely see it as an asset on their balance sheet. I think that's going to be the first cab off the rank with the adoption. And many of them are already doing this, Iran as an example there. And I think the domino effect around, it being a legit asset, that's what I see happening.
Sorry, Jesse was doing some neck stretches. I was copying him.
Yeah, I just did yoga today. Do you think there could be some sort of thing like a collective, like the EU or the UN, but this time it's a collection
Bitcoin
of countries that are into Bitcoin?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'll just share this one with you. As we know, we've got a huge amount of involvement from central banks, from politicians at the moment around Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So it's quite interesting to see the Bank of International Settlements are proposing that banks would have to hold a huge amount of fiat currency to cover a crypto exposure. So in other words, if you had $100 million of Bitcoin exposure, you would have to have the equivalent in fiat, which are find laughable when they are able to create loans with fractional reserve banking that are backed by about 2% of the actual loan's value. They're going to attempt to highly regulate it. So, what I see happening in the places like Panama, El Salvador, etc., these other countries that are looking to be next cab off the rank, they obviously see a competitive advantage by creating a blockchain or crypto-friendly environment. So, yeah, I mean, the other news out today as well, Spain, a country I lived in for a couple of years and love dearly. Unfortunately, it looks like they're making it very difficult for the blockchain industry there. They're looking to pass legislation that would mean that all of your information of any crypto holdings would go directly to the government. There would be a pipe, so all information is just there constantly, as opposed for them having to request information about individuals or companies and their crypto assets.
This is something that they're proposing, or they've already have in place?
They're proposing that at the moment. So, look, it's clearly a case of people are playing catch up here. Innovation always outpaces, the ability to pass laws and regulate things. As I say, I'm quite happy with how most governments have approached regulating the crypto space so far. But believe me, this is really, really about to heat up in the coming months. Where, as we're seeing the likes of an El Salvador and other countries, it potentially undermines the power base of China, of the US, and their dominance in these what are currency wars currently taking place at the moment. So, look, let's see. Speaking of currency wars, I love this one. Absolutely love this one. Mark Cuban, a couple of days ago, was talking about his play in the DeFi space. I'm a big fan of Mark Cuban, and he was talking about being the major liquidity provider for a token called Titan from Iron Finance. So Iron Finance today, let's have a look.
The Iron Finance got a bit rusty by the sounds of it.
No, apparently Iron Finance is buggered, but what I find really quite amusing here is after tweeting about being the major liquidity provider for Iron Finance has had what effectively is a bank run. It's dropped to zero, but Mark Cuban has just come out in the last couple of hours and said he actually withdrew his liquidity. So whether or not he in fact actually paused the bank run,
maybe either he's saying that so he doesn't look like a fool. But then if he doesn't look like a fool, then he looks like an asshole. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Mark can't win on that one.
So yes, my apologies to anyone that may have been holding the Titan.
I got into a little bit of. I have a bag of Injective from months and months and months ago because simply because Mark Cuban said something about it. It wasn't like a significant bag, but I'm still holding it, and maybe I'll just stop listening to Mark Cuban.
I wouldn't stop listening to Mark Cuban. I actually think he's one of the better commentators. I think he speaks a hell of a lot of truth. He invests in things that have already got adoption that are happening. I rate the guy and how he's playing his crypto moves.
Yeah, I guess you didn't hold iron.
Yeah.
No.
That's why you rate him.
Speaking of well-known people endorsing, Mark Cuban's very different. He invests in a lot of startups, but my friend and mentor Chris Dunn tweeted something today that I thought was curious. I'll just bring it up. So Kim Kardashian was endorsing, not financial advice, sharing what my friends just told me about the Ethereum Max token. A few minutes ago, Ethereum Max burned 400 trillion tokens, literally 50% of their admin wallet, giving back to the entire Emacs community. Hashtag Emacs disrupt history.
That is so cringe, as if she wrote that.
Exactly. And okay, have we learned nothing from 2017? Okay, how much did she get to do this is what I want to know.
Probably 400 trillion.
400 trillion tokens?
Yeah, they burned 400 trillion tokens into my wallet.
into my butt.
I have absolutely no idea what Ethereum Max even is.
Shouldn't this be illegal? Or at least we know how much he's getting paid to shill this?
Legally, if you are talking about a crypto project that have paid you to do so, you are absolutely 100% legally obliged to do that. And unfortunately, most people in crypto media don't. On that note, you should always ask people if they have been paid when they're talking about tokens, people.
Well, that's it.
Very
It's either
obvious thing to do.
put your money where your mouth is. If the Mark Cubans of the world, right? They invest, they investigate, research, invest. And it's very different to receiving tokens to shill something. Like if you receive tokens for free to shill, I don't necessarily call that investing.
And who is the regulatory authority that would be in charge of Kim Kardashian, being accountable for not following the law here?
See, the SEC is for, traditional markets, but we don't really have that for crypto.
So then I guess there is no law if there's nobody to regulate it.
On this topic, people, brilliantly, we've got Coinbase announcing, fact-checking, decentralizing the truth in an age of misinformation. So basically what we have here, people, is one of the most centralized entities in all of blockchain, Coinbase, starting a media company. And I just find this absolutely freaking laughable. They're talking about decentralizing the truth in the age of misinformation. So centralized company is starting a crypto media outlet to basically squash misinformation in the crypto space. Go fuck yourselves.
Usually that means they want to start spreading the information that they like.
Exactly.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
Cool.
obviously, we
Awesome.
are a crypto media outlet ourselves, people, so I can set myself up for all sorts of abuse here, making those sort of comments. But yeah, I find that one very laughable. I think, in fact, to be honest, I think the whole crypto media space is beyond a joke. Raoul Paul, I kind of like his channel. His traditional finance stuff is absolutely awesome. I follow that. He's just raised $35 million for their Real Vision brand. Of which sort of crypto is playing a huge role in now. I don't know, I think some of his crypto content's a bit of a joke, but he's one of the better ones out there. In fact, it's a guy from outside of crypto that's making the best crypto content at the moment, a guy called Lex Friedman. He's just done a brilliant interview with Charles Hoskinson. I'll put a link below to that. Make sure you check that out, people. As far as the rest of crypto media goes, Peter McCormick, who seems to have become the self-appointed voice of Bitcoin, is a fucking joke. Some of his recent content is just laughable. His interview with Eric Weinstein has basically got me to stop watching his show completely.
Really?
I used to be a big fan of. Yeah. Eric Weinstein's a smart guy. He's got the ear of many, many powerful people, and he didn't come on Peter's show to have an argument with the guy, but that's how it ended up. It was a joke. Oh, go and watch it. It's painful. And, here's Peter McCormick down there with Ran the crypto man. They're down there hanging out with the president of El Salvador at the moment. So somehow these media people become the go-tos at the highest levels here, whereas they should be flying Sean, Leanne, and Jesse down to sort things out. We're free, we're available, El Presidente. Come down and see anytime.
Well, this next, I'm going to share a picture with you. This reminded me of Jesse. Yeah, that's right. I didn't sell shit. Yeah.
That reminds me of me too.
Yep. Just kicking back.
Although, is that his dick though? That looks tiny.
No.
How does he have such a small dick and such huge balls?
If you're going to buy shit coins, you got to have big balls.
That monkey looks sophisticated.
Well, he's got an air of sophistication.
He's relaxed.
An air of, he's relaxed. He's a little bit arrogant, but he knows what he's
He's a bit homeless.
He knows what's happening.
He also looks like he could have lost it all,
Do
only
you
a
know,
month ago.
I love looking at the comments too. Yeah, yep, that's the vibe.
That's the vibe.
If you hold alts, you're still underwater, sir. Diamond balls.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord. You clearly follow some interesting people on Twitter, Leanne.
I think somebody liked it, and that's really the crux of it. Somebody liked it, and I just thought it was funny, and I'm like, that reminds me of Jesse.
Yep. There's similarities there.
What else of note have we got to share with the audience today? What really we've got going on here, maybe to sort of start wrapping the show up, in my opinion, is roughly 8,000 different experiments in monetary policy. They are experiments, many of these things. Bitcoin, I think, has proved itself quite clearly now. Hence, we're seeing, adoption at a state level. Many of these other projects, I think, will continue to go from strength to strength. Yes, a lot of them, the majority are shit coins. That's the whole game here, people, is picking the winners. That's what we're trying to help you with on this show.
Speaking of picking the winners, Jesse, would you like to share with us this week what you won?
Jesse's a winner.
We'll quickly show it because we've already done this. But for the last time, everyone can see I have won a butt plug for a recent music video that was released on my track "Wake Up" featuring Atia, which is available now on all streaming platforms. And check out the music video on YouTube. We'll have a link below.
We can play the show out with it now, Jesse.
Wake up, yo. Everybody, wake up. This is the time to wake your ass up. This is not a time for sleeping. That time is over. Find yourself, find your freedom, get strong, take control. Wake the fuck up. Bye-bye.